Imagine losing your memory or balance, not from age, but from the wrong handful of nuts. Most seniors believe all nuts are healthy, but after 60, three common choices can quietly damage your heart, raise your blood pressure, or even interfere with your medications. The good news? Three others act like protectors, guarding your brain, strengthening your bones, and even preserving your eyesight. Stay with me, because the nut you snack on today could decide your independence tomorrow. For many seniors, the scariest part isn't pain. It's the slow loss of independence. When something as simple as food turns against you. After 60, your body changes the way it handles certain nuts. Some lower inflammation, strengthen bones, and sharpen vision. But others can trigger toxicity, drug conflicts, or silent blood pressure spikes. I've seen it firsthand. Rosa, 72, thought all nuts are healthy until her numbers suddenly climbed. The hopeful news? Just one mindful switch in your nut bowl can protect your strength and confidence every single day. But that's not even the surprising part. 1. Walnuts, the brain protector. When most people think of walnuts, they imagine a crunchy topping for a salad. But for seniors, walnuts are far more than garnish. They're medicine for the brain and heart. Here's why. After 60, our immune system shifts into a low-grade inflammatory state called inflammaging. Think of it like a car alarm that's become oversensitive. It goes off even when nothing's wrong. This silent inflammation raises your risk of memory loss, fatigue, and heart disease. Now here's the encouraging part. A major study called the WAHA trial, published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology in 2020, followed 708 adults aged 63 to 79 for 2 years. Those who ate 30 to 60 grams of walnuts daily, that's about 7 halves each morning, reduced their inflammatory markers by up to 11.5%. That's not just a number on a lab test. It's a measurable reduction in the very signals that drive heart decline and brain fog. In my clinic, Frank, 68, used to start his mornings with a blueberry muffin. He felt sluggish by mid-morning, often forgetting names in conversation. We swapped that muffin for a small handful of raw walnuts at breakfast. Within 6 weeks, he noticed clearer thinking and a steadier energy that carried through the day. It wasn't magic, it was biology working in his favor. So, here's your simple protocol. Aim for 30 grams of raw, unsalted English walnuts each morning. You can soak them overnight to make digestion easier and pair them with fruit or oatmeal. If one small swap at breakfast could sharpen your focus, wouldn't it be worth trying? Your inflammation clock resets right here. 2. Almonds, the bone guardian. After 60, bones don't heal and rebuild the way they once did. Calcium absorption drops by almost 40%. That's why fractures, even from small falls, become life-changing events for so many seniors. But here's the missing piece most people overlook. Calcium can't protect your bones alone. It needs a partner. Magnesium, and almonds are packed with it. Think of calcium as heavy suitcases arriving at the airport. Magnesium is the taxi driver making sure those suitcases actually reach your home, your bones. Without enough taxis, the luggage just piles up, unused. This isn't theory, it's data. An analysis from the NHANES Dataset in 2024, looking at over 5,800 adults aged 50 and above, found that higher vitamin E intake from almonds correlated with a 4% lower risk of osteoporosis. That may sound small, but across millions of seniors, that's thousands of hips and spines staying intact. Let me share Rosa's story. At 72, she always kept almond cookies in her kitchen, believing she was getting her nuts in. But when we shifted her from cookies to a daily handful of raw almonds, about 23 with the skin still on, the change was striking. Within 3 months, her bone scan showed stronger density markers, and she felt steadier on her morning walks. Here's your protocol. 28 grams of raw almonds daily, about 23 nuts. Best taken between meals for steady absorption. Always choose raw with skin. That's where most antioxidants hide. If something as simple as swapping a cookie for a handful of almonds could protect your bones, would you try it today? But what most people miss is what comes next. Before we move on, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed your posture changing or your joints feeling different after 60? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could inspire another senior who's facing the same challenge. And if this resonates, a quick yes in the comments helps me know we're on the right track together. 3. Pistachios. The vision supporter. Sight is often the first sense seniors fear losing, and for good reason. When vision fades, independence follows quickly. Driving, reading, even recognizing faces becomes harder. But here's the hopeful news. Certain foods can act like inner sunglasses, shielding your eyes from silent damage. And pistachios are one of the most powerful. Why? They're rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, two pigments that accumulate in the macula, the central part of your retina. Think of your macula as the windshield of a car. Over time, sunlight and free radicals scratch that glass. Lutein works like a protective film, thickening the shield so those scratches do less harm. The science is solid. A Tufts University trial in 2024 involving 40 adults between 50 and 70 showed that eating a daily handful of pistachios nearly doubled macular pigment density in just 6 weeks. That means sharper vision, slower degeneration, and stronger protection against age-related macular decline. Elaine, age 70, came to me worried she couldn't read street signs as clearly. We added 28 grams, about 49 kernels, of unsalted in-shell pistachios to her afternoon routine. 2 months later, she proudly told me she could read signs again without squinting, and her eye specialist noted improvements in her retinal scan. Here's your protocol. 28 grams, about 49 pistachios, daily. Best in the afternoon as a snack. Always choose unsalted in-shell. The slow cracking helps with portion control. If one colorful snack could help you see your grandchildren's faces more clearly, isn't that worth making space for? Miss this next step, and you may undo the progress you just made. 4. Brazil nuts. The selenium bomb. Avoid. Brazil nuts are one of the most misunderstood foods in senior health. Many believe they're harmless, even superfoods. But after 60, they can quietly push your body toward overload. Here's the biology. Brazil nuts are the richest natural source of selenium, a trace mineral that's vital in small amounts. It helps your thyroid function and protects cells from oxidative stress. But aging changes how the liver processes selenium. By your 70s, clearance can drop by more than 30%, meaning the same handful that once nourished now risks toxicity. Think of it like pouring fuel into an old engine. When you were younger, the engine could burn it efficiently. Now, the system clogs, sputters, and leaves behind damaging residue. The danger isn't theoretical. A 2016 clinical nutrition study tracked older adults who ate just one Brazil nut per day. Within months, 18% showed early signs of selenium toxicity, brittle nails, hair loss, and digestive upset. Some even developed fatigue that doctors first mistook for aging. George, 74, came to me worried about his nails breaking like glass. He proudly told me he'd been eating 4 Brazil nuts every morning for his health. When we tested, his selenium levels were nearly double the safe range. After cutting back, his energy and nail strength slowly returned. So, here's the safe rule. No more than 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per week, never daily, and never by the handful. Could a food you thought was protecting you actually be stressing your body instead? One tiny shift here changes everything downstream. 5. Pine nuts, the medication disruptor. Avoid. Pine nuts look harmless. They're small, tasty, and often sprinkled over salads. But for seniors on medications, they can quietly interfere with your body's chemistry in ways that most people never suspect. Here's the issue. Pine nuts contain compounds that affect the liver's cytochrome P450 system. That's the same pathway your body uses to break down many common medications: blood pressure pills, cholesterol drugs, even antidepressants. When pine nuts slow this system down, your medicines don't clear properly. It's like traffic cones placed on a busy highway. Cars back up, deliveries are delayed, and the whole system becomes congested. In real life, this means medications can build up in your bloodstream, raising the risk of stronger side effects: dizziness, fatigue, or dangerously low blood pressure. The science is catching up. Between 2022 and 2024, case reports documented clusters of seniors who developed pine mouth syndrome, a bitter metallic taste lasting for weeks. Nearly 23% also lost their appetite and unintentionally dropped weight, a serious risk for older adults already struggling to maintain muscle. Alice, 69, came in exhausted and losing weight without trying. She thought it was just age, but when we traced her diet, she had been eating pine nut pesto several times a week. Once she stopped, her appetite and energy slowly returned, and the strange taste in her mouth finally disappeared. Here's the safe advice. If you're taking daily medications, avoid pine nuts altogether. Replace them with walnuts, almonds, or pistachios for safer, proven benefits. Is a fancy garnish worth risking the effectiveness of the very medicines keeping you healthy? For many seniors, this is when the fog starts to lift. 6. Salted cashews, the blood pressure trap. Avoid. Cashews are often marketed as heart healthy. But here's the truth. Once they're roasted and salted, they can quietly raise your blood pressure, especially after 60. A single handful of salted cashews can pack 200 milligrams of sodium. For aging arteries, that's like forcing water through pipes that are already stiff and narrowed. The extra pressure strains the system, forcing your heart to work harder than it should. A study in Hypertension Research, 2022, followed adults over 60 who regularly ate salted cashews. It found their systolic blood pressure climbed by an average of 5 to 8 millimeters of mercury. That may sound minor, but for someone already close to the danger zone, it's the difference between controlled and uncontrolled hypertension. And high pressure doesn't just affect the heart. It silently stresses the brain and kidneys too. Tom, 71, came into my office puzzled. He was exercising daily, eating vegetables, even meditating. But his morning blood pressure readings kept creeping higher. The culprit wasn't obvious until we looked at his snacks. Every evening, he was eating 2 generous handfuls of salted cashews. Once he switched to a small serving of raw, unsalted nuts, his numbers settled back into a safe range. Here's the safe guideline. If you enjoy cashews, stick to no more than 10 raw, unsalted nuts per day. Skip the roasted, salted versions. They undo the very benefits you're hoping for. Ask yourself this. Wouldn't it be heartbreaking to let something as simple as a salty snack undo years of healthy effort? Without this, the burden often falls on family first. When you reach this stage of life, food is no longer just fuel. It's either medicine that helps you stay strong and independent, or quiet stress that chips away at your health. Every handful, every snack is a choice that shapes not just your numbers on a chart, but your daily freedom. I've seen seniors protect their hearts, their minds, and even their eyesight with small, consistent changes. And I've also seen others struggle, simply because they didn't realize which foods were silently holding them back. So, here's my gentle invitation. Which of today's nuts surprised you the most? Was it the hidden danger in Brazil nuts, or the brain boost from walnuts? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might be the exact encouragement another senior needs today. And if this conversation helped you, I'd be honored if you joined our Healthy Aging Hub community. Subscribe, and you'll get more practical, science-backed ways to protect your strength, your clarity, and your independence after 60. Because at the end of the day, your health isn't just about you. It's about the family and friends who count on you to keep showing up.